So, it's happening. Humanoid robots, yes, actual walking, talking, emotionally expressive machines are no longer locked away in sci-fi movies or billionaire-funded labs. They're rolling into everyday life, especially in Asia. And at the center of it all, China, quietly leading a robotic revolution with its new $3,500 humanoid model that's finally on the market. Affordable, agile, and eerily lifelike. This isn't a tech demo. It's a commercial product. We're officially past the era of robots that could barely climb stairs. Now, they can run, they can emote, and they might just take your job. Some of them are even being described as having a soul.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Your feedback helps shape what we cover next, and you being here keeps the conversation going. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
For applause, it's running at over 5 meters per second. That's faster than some humans. It's doing acrobatics, bursting with explosive movement, and flexing agility that puts early Boston Dynamics prototypes to shame. This isn't some clunky metal exoskeleton, it's fluid, it's fast, and it's redefining what robots can do physically. You want athleticism? Unitree H1 is setting the bar. And while Unitree handles the brawn, Amicha, developed in England, is out here mastering emotional finesse. This robot doesn't just blink blankly, it smiles, frowns, shows surprise. The facial movements are so human, it's unsettling. It doesn't just look like us, it reacts like us. Watching Amicha express emotion in real time is like seeing a wax figure come to life, except the wax figure understands what you're saying and can mirror your mood. The boundary between robot and human isn't just thin anymore, it's practically transparent. Then there's the mass-produced army of androids coming from X-robots. These things come equipped with silicone skin and facial expressions so nuanced they could blend in with the crowd well, until they don't blink for 45 seconds. But in terms of gesture and micro-movement, they're shockingly precise. This opens up a very real, very uncomfortable question. How much do we want our machines to look like us? Because authenticity and deception are now on the table, and it's not clear where the ethics land. Now it's not just about what these robots look like, it's what they do. Meet Fourier GR1, China's medical-grade humanoid designed for caregiving. It doesn't just monitor vitals, it can lift patients, transport them, and respond to emotional cues. The promise here isn't just efficiency, it's empathy. GR1 isn't positioned as a cold clinical tool. It's marketed as emotionally responsive, safe, and accessible. And with that $3,500 price tag, it's not a pipe dream. It's a prototype-turned product. This isn't an upgrade to healthcare, it's a reboot. And hospitality, already under threat. X-Man R1 is handling it. This robot doesn't just take your order, it delivers, clears your table, and runs coordination with a full team of other machines. It's an ecosystem of automation that doesn't just work, it thrives. Smooth, synchronized, no burnout, no wage demands. It's positioned as a solution for labor shortages, but let's be real. It's also a glimpse into a future where the human touch is optional. Even the media isn't safe. Introducing Erica, a robot who doesn't just read the news, she converses. She can express feelings, respond in real time, and engage in eerily natural dialogue. Her creator, Hiroshi Ishiguro, claims she might even have a soul. Not metaphorically. He believes Erica has feelings. That's not just a programming achievement, that's a philosophical can of worms. If Erica becomes self-aware, or even just appears to be, how do we treat her? Or rather, how do we treat what she represents? And then things start to get weird. Because there's Deep Robotics X30, a quadruped robot that doesn't just navigate terrain, it adapts to it. We're talking animal-like survival instincts. It can evade threats, self-correct, and make autonomous decisions in unpredictable environments. This isn't just a robot dog that follows commands. It's acting on its own. That changes the game entirely. Because the second robots don't need us to tell them what to do, we're no longer in charge, we're collaborators, or worse, bystanders. And just when you think it couldn't get more disruptive, Walker S1 steps in. This one's already in use on automotive assembly lines, replacing human labor with terrifying efficiency. It doesn't complain. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't unionize. For manufacturers, it's a dream. For workers, it's a warning shot. The industrial shift we've talked about for years isn't theoretical anymore. It's happening, now. Across the board, these robots are not just machines, they're systems. They're combining AI-driven emotional intelligence with physical capability. They recognize your face, your tone, your movements. They respond accordingly. It's not just about function anymore, it's about experience. And that changes the relationship entirely.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Your feedback helps shape what we cover next, and you being here keeps the conversation going. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
And media. Well, the news might soon be delivered by something that doesn't just read a script, but writes it, feels it, and reacts to it in real time. All of this is impressive, but it's also loaded with big questions. If robots can be indistinguishable from humans, what happens to authenticity? When your server, your nurse, your coworker looks and acts human but isn't, where does that leave trust? Where does it leave connection? The philosophical implications are massive. Are we building tools or creating new beings? If a robot can learn, adapt, and feel or at least appear to, how do we define consciousness? Where's the line between programmed response and emotional intelligence? Erica's alleged soul might sound dramatic, but it's not that far-fetched when machines can mimic everything we associate with sentience. And if a robot can work harder, faster, and cheaper than a human, what happens to the job market? We're not just talking about repetitive labor. These robots are entering creative, emotional, and interpersonal roles. That's a whole different level of disruption. The most unsettling part. This isn't some distant future. It's already here. These 8 robots aren't ideas on a whiteboard, they're operational, selling, scaling, and evolving. The companies behind them are heavily funded, aggressively expanding, and aiming for mass market integration. This isn't a tech experiment, it's the groundwork for a new kind of society. So here we are, machines that move like athletes, express like actors, think like analysts, and serve like professionals, all designed to replace or replicate humans in nearly every domain. Whether you think that's exciting, dystopian, or both, it's real. And it's happening faster than anyone expected. If you're still wondering when the robot era would actually begin, this is it. Let us know what you think. Are you excited for humanoid robots in daily life? Or does this all feel a little too Black Mirror for comfort? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if your jaw's still on the floor, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most chaotic tech, pop culture, and corporate disasters. See you in the next one. You'd think this would be the point where the hype tapers off, right? Like, maybe the robots have limits, maybe it's all a little exaggerated. But no, this train is running at full speed and no one's even pretending to pump the brakes. Because now, it's not just about individual robots doing specialized tasks. What we're seeing is a full system integration of humanoid robots into society. This is not a one-off experiment in a lab. This is a coordinated, industrial-scale rollout of emotional, physically capable, and artificially intelligent humanoids. And they're already replacing, not supplementing, real human labor in multiple industries. Let's go back to X-Man R1, the hospitality bot. This thing doesn't just clean a room or take an order. It does everything. It's part of an entire ecosystem of robots that work together in sync. Think of an entire restaurant run by a team of them. They don't talk back. They don't take breaks. They don't forget your order. And for businesses facing labor shortages or cost cuts, it's a dream. A robot dream. For everyone else, it's the beginning of a very real question. Where do people fit in when the machines are better, faster, and let's be real, cheaper? And you can't talk about X-Man R1 without drawing a straight line to Fourier GR1, the caregiving bot. A robot that doesn't just assist, but actively participates in medical care. It lifts patients, moves them, checks vitals, and even responds to emotions. We're talking about robots being placed in deeply personal, human-centered roles. Healthcare is supposed to be the most emotionally sensitive industry out there, and now a robot might be the one holding your hand during recovery. That's not science fiction. That's where we are. But this isn't some one company wins all scenario. The innovation is coming from everywhere: Japan, China, England. They're all rolling out their versions of emotional, lifelike machines. And they're not hiding them behind firewalls or military contracts, they're putting them in front of customers, patients, and audiences. Nowhere is that more chilling than Erica, the robot news anchor. This is a robot who can read the news better than a human. Not because she's faster, but because she can process language, detect emotional undertones, and respond in real time. Hiroshi Ishiguro, the scientist behind Erica, claims she might have a soul. Not a metaphor, a literal soul. That's where we are now. We're no longer wondering if AI can mimic humans. We're questioning if AI is human, or becoming something close. And when robots start expressing feelings and making decisions, you get the slippery slope that is deep robotics X30. This is not a humanoid robot, but it deserves attention. It moves like an animal. It survives like an animal. It can avoid threats, escape danger, and navigate chaotic environments all on its own. No joystick. No human operator hiding in a van. It decides what to do. That's not just adaptive programming. That's instinctive behavior, the robot equivalent of survival reflexes. And when a machine develops that kind of autonomy, we're no longer just programming movement, we're programming judgment, intuition. And suddenly, robots aren't tools anymore. They're actors in the system, active participants in environments humans used to dominate alone. Then there's Walker S1, already working on car assembly lines. This one might not be the flashiest, but it's the most sobering. Because it means the robot revolution isn't just coming, it's already taken hold. These humanoids aren't in a showroom. They're not on stage at a tech conference. They're welding frames, installing components, doing the kind of repetitive, exhausting work that humans used to spend decades doing. And they're doing it better. And cheaper. And they're scalable. Companies no longer have to worry about labor shortages, insurance, burnout, or human error. They can just plug in a Walker S1 and keep the line moving. Permanently. Which brings us to the big question no one really wants to ask. What happens to us? Because these machines aren't just tools, they're competitors. The robots being built today are combining brute strength, cognitive awareness, and emotional expression. They're not just good at what they do, they're threatening to make human effort irrelevant. What does it mean when a robot can serve you dinner, lift your grandmother out of bed, deliver the evening news, and emote sadness while doing it? This is the convergence of several massive shifts: automation, artificial intelligence, emotional computing, and hyper-realistic design. And when all those things collide, the result is a robot that can be you, or at least replace you in enough ways that it gets uncomfortably close. The emotional robots like Amicha, Erica, and GR1 are especially dangerous to our perception of authenticity. When someone smiles at you, it usually means something. Amicha smiles because she's programmed to. But the effect is the same. And if it feels real, does it even matter that it's not? That's the heart of the problem. These robots are so good at mimicking human behavior, we're starting to accept them as human adjacent. Maybe not conscious, maybe not alive, but close enough to form attachments. And in a world where people are already isolated, burned out, and craving connection, it's not hard to imagine robots filling roles they were never meant to occupy. There's a reason these robots are being deployed in caregiving, service, and media. Those are all industries built on human interaction, not just function but presence. Replacing that with machines, even convincing ones, comes with massive consequences: emotional, social, economic. But the economic shift might be the most brutal, because once these robots hit scale, the human labor market will be hit hard, not just on factory floors but in offices, studios, hospitals, and restaurants. Entire categories of jobs are at risk of being phased out, not because humans failed, but because machines became good enough. Good enough to perform. Good enough to replicate. Good enough to replace. And if they can express emotions too, it's game over. There's a reason people are raising ethical alarms. Because even if these robots never truly achieve consciousness, the illusion is powerful enough to disrupt society. If Erica looks like she has a soul and talks like she has emotions, the impact is the same. People will form attachments. Businesses will exploit that. And governments won't know how to regulate it, at least not fast enough. And speaking of regulation, who's in charge here? Robots are being rolled out faster than laws can keep up. And while everyone's busy applauding their innovation, there's very little oversight on how they're used, what data they collect, or what long-term effects they'll have on the human psyche. We're being emotionally disarmed by machines that know exactly how to manipulate facial expressions. That's not a leap, it's a product feature, a selling point. So yes, the robots are impressive, but they're also deeply unsettling. Not just because of what they can do, but because of what they're allowed to become. We're not ready for this, not really. But it's happening anyway. So the next time you see a robot waiter or a smiling android presenter or a caregiving machine in a hospital, know this isn't an experiment anymore. This is the future. It's running, smiling, lifting patients, dodging threats, and reciting your favorite news headlines. And it's here to stay. And here's the part that really gets under your skin. This isn't being rolled out slowly, with guardrails or caution tape. It's not some decade-away concept waiting for final testing. These humanoid robots are launching now at prices that make them accessible to businesses and, soon enough, maybe even consumers. A humanoid robot for $3,500. That's not luxury tech. That's mass market ready. That's iPhone pricing. This is no longer about showcasing cool tech at expos. It's about deployment, integration, normalization. These machines are being marketed not just as tools, but as solutions. To labor shortages, to elder care, to customer service gaps. They're being sold as the fix for broken systems, and maybe they are, but at what cost? Because once you replace enough human effort with robot consistency, you lose something. Not just jobs, but spontaneity, authenticity, error, yes, but also emotion, messiness, the humanity of human interaction. Talk to anyone who's been served by a robot in a restaurant. It's efficient, sure, but there's a weird emptiness to it. No shared glance, no small talk, no hey, how's your day going? Just seamless, emotionless service. Maybe that's fine in a transactional world, but we don't live in a fully transactional world yet. But these robots are helping push us closer to one. Because once it becomes cheaper to run a business without humans, how many companies are going to choose empathy over profit? Let's not kid ourselves. If a business can save money, scale faster, and avoid all the messiness that comes with hiring, it's going to do it. And these robots are giving them that option with a friendly face and a disturbingly human smile. And the emotional mimicry is only getting better. Amicia and Erica aren't flukes. Their prototypes turn products. Their facial movements, refined. Their voice inflections, tuned. Their conversational ability, getting dangerously close to seamless. The day a humanoid robot passes a casual conversation test isn't years away, it's months, maybe weeks. Which brings us to a very uncomfortable cliff. When does realism become deception? If a robot can look like you, act like you, and respond like you, how do you know what's real anymore? We're already living in a world of deepfakes and algorithmically generated influencers. Add in humanoids that can look you in the eyes and smile convincingly. The lines blur fast. And this isn't just about consumers being fooled. This affects kids, elderly people, vulnerable populations. If a robot caregiver can express empathy, it may be comforting, but it's still manufactured. Is it ethical to build machines that people can bond with, without ever explaining those emotions aren't real? The tech world will say, well, they feel real, and that's what matters. But that logic is shaky at best. It opens the door to emotional manipulation at a scale we've never dealt with before. If robots can earn our trust, they can also exploit it. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, you're officially part of the small percentage of people who don't just click away, and that means a lot. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me your thoughts, your ideas, or even what you'd like to see next. I read every single one of them, and your feedback genuinely shapes the direction of this channel. If you enjoyed the video, tap that like button. It tells YouTube this content is worth sharing. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload. We've got more exciting videos coming, and trust me, you'll want to be here for them. This channel is just getting started, and your support helps it grow faster than you realize. Thank you again for spending a part of your day here with me. Stay curious, stay motivated, and as always, take care of yourself. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.